state veteran was released from Kagumo police station in September 2022, despite having serious pending cases against him. Mr. Speaker, I also want to ask question 107/2023, whereby I'm asking the Cabinet Secretary to explain the measures the ministry has instituted to address the emergence of criminal gangs and groups with terror rings affiliated to terror groups in the country, including actions being taken against those that are facilitating with rings or sponsoring such groups. Number two, describe the strategies the ministry has put in place to deal with the emergence of criminal gangs in major towns of Nakuru, Nairobi, Mombasa, and other towns, in particular criminal gangs known as Wechame militia group that is terrorizing residents in Kagumo town in Kirinyaga Central. Number three, explain the security measure that the minister has put in place to address rampant insecurity incidences in Kerugoya town, especially along Medingaere Road and Kemore area. I submit.
Minister, I think those are related questions from the same area, and we can be done in 20 minutes on this.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the question raised by the member for Kerugoya Central regarding the suspect Laban Rukenya Munene, I would like to respond as follows. That yes, the four entries to the OB at Kagumo Police Post and Kabonde Police Post relate to one person, namely Laban Rukenya Munene. This is a suspect of crime who is awaiting prosecution before the Baricho law courts and is accused of stealing on various dates. He stole from a victim called Mary Karua Nagashoki, twice actually. On a third occasion, the same Rukenya, the same Munene stole from a Mr. John Rukenya, and on another occasion he stole from a Miss Jemima Wangeshi. The suspect was arrested on 3rd of April 2022 and arraigned before the Baricho Law Court under criminal case number 356 of 2022. However, the suspect was released by court on bail. The suspect subsequently jumped bail and is on the run. And the government and the prosecution and security agencies have no control over who the court gives bail or not. So the prosecution tried to oppose the granting of bail, but the court ruled against the prosecution. The bail was granted, and when the suspect was admitted to bail, he jumped bail and is now on the run. The prosecution went back to court and obtained a warrant of arrest, and we are still looking for this suspect. The security agencies are yet to track him down, but I want to assure the member for Kirinyaga Central and the House that criminal investigations, criminal matters are never closed, and therefore we are actively looking for these suspects with a view to arresting them in line with the arrest warrants in our possession, and also to produce them in court for prosecution. Honorable Speaker, with regard to the next question from the same member, parliamentary question number 107 of 2023, I would like to respond as follows. That sometimes at the middle of last year, there was an increasing incidents. There were increasing incidents of urban crime. The most affected urban center was Nairobi. And by the time this administration was sworn into office, around mid-September, there was a huge crisis in this city arising out of terror gangs, gangs of youths, knife-wielding, some armed with pistols, other crude weapons, terrorizing people, robbing people day and night in many parts of the country. We have been able to contain that problem in Nairobi drastically by change of command, but also by change of strategy and deployment, by using special units within the National Police Service. And by and large, I think I am happy that crime has come down by nearly more than 60%, if not more, based on the statistics we are getting, and that matter is under control. But we are also aware there have been some criminal gangs terrorizing people in Nakuru, a gang called Confirm. We have been able to neutralize that threat because 3-4 months ago, it was a real menace. We've been able to arrest the ringleaders, and some of them have been arraigned in court. And right now, I think the situation is under control, and I can also report in the process we had to change again the command of Nakuru County to make sure that we inject fresh leadership and a new team, because sometimes when officers stay in one area for some time, they become a bit lethargic. And that's why we have a policy that no officer, no commander should stay in one station for more than 3 years, to allow them not only serve the whole country and the variety of the entire country, but also to ensure that they don't get involved in local communities and start being lethargic and not become the professionals they are supposed to be. The strategies, therefore, that we are applying to deal with this problem of organized gangs include intelligence-led investigations, which are working very well. But unfortunately, the downside, Honorable Speaker, is that intelligence-led investigations take a little time. But whenever we zero in on a suspect, we have enough evidence, enough intelligence, enough evidence that can be able to help us deal with the core of that issue. In fact, this is the approach we are using in the area issue of banditry. As we speak, we have on our radar very, very high-ranking suspects within the banditry network. We believe we have enough information, and perhaps once we start striking on the network, the thing will come down. But you know, we needed to take a bit of time to be sure that we have the right information that can help us nip the problem in the bud. Other than that, we are investing heavily, Honorable Speaker, on special units, so that to allow police on general duties to concentrate on general maintenance of law of order. But where you have organized crime, organized gangs, banditry, terrorism, trafficking in drugs, and other sophisticated crimes, we are using formed units, including the Rapid Deployment Unit, including ASTU for livestock, the Anti-Stock Theft Unit, including SOG, the Special Operation Group, which has done a great job in neutralizing some of the most complicated security threats, especially in the counter-terrorism effort, and also including SWAT, which is the Special Weapons team that deal with urban close-range crime prevention and crime combating. And we have SWAT teams for men and women officers who do not operate in uniform, and they are really helping us a big deal in containing urban crime. And based on the information that the member has raised about Kagumo town, I am going to personally discuss with our police command in Kagumo so that we put in place a program to make sure that, as we have done in Nairobi, as we have done increasingly in Nakuru, we also exterminate that criminal gang before it takes over Kagumo town, because this country must be a country where citizens are free and they are not living under the terror of criminals. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, CS, for the elaborate answer for the two questions. Mr. Speaker, this question came a while back, and I want to confirm to the CS that after this issue came, when it was mentioned here in Parliament, the guy, Laban, has already been arrested, and Kangware people are happy. He has been arrested. He was arrested on Monday. That is Easter Monday. So the court will deal with that case. On the other issue, I want to commend the CS, Mr. Speaker, because I went to his office personally, and we discussed issues about Kagumo, and so far, the OCS who had overstayed has so far left the station, and even the OCS for another area in Kanyekine called Mutito, who has also left. On the other question, there were a number of series, as the CS is saying, there were serious criminals, especially in the Kagumo area. They were breaking into businesses, and this was immediately after the elections. But I want to confirm that this has so far gone down, and we are happy with the work we are doing, Bwana CS. I don't have any other question. I thank you.
Yes, those are just comments. Kikaria.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank Waziri for the information that he has given, and I want to confirm. It is true, the activities of the confirmed gang has been brought down by not even 60%, almost to 70%. Honorable Speaker, I can confirm we don't have even a single death in the last 1.5 months. But my question that I want to ask Waziri on this confirmed gang, Honorable Speaker, is that maybe, I don't know if he has a record of the number of deaths caused by these knife wielding gangs, because they carry a knife always, and they strike using the knife, including 2 of our very good rugby players who lost their lives around 3 months ago. So maybe if he has a number of the deaths which have been caused by this criminal gang. Secondly, phones are involved, because whenever they strike, they get your phone. And the people who are attacked normally report to the police station for police to be able to follow up on these phones. Then, and that would be a better way of following a phone that has been stolen, and you can be able to reach to the people who committed that crime. And maybe the reports which have been done, how many phones have been recovered in the process, so that they can be able to arrest the people. Even if you bought a phone, then you must have bought it from somebody, then you give that information. Lastly,
Thank you. That's enough. Okay, give him the mic. One supplementary, Kikari.
yes, the very last one. Honorable Speaker, is about police officers. The station where this, because the operations of Confirm is normally on the southern part, where we have a police station called Bondeni. And that police station, Honorable Speaker, is notorious about the police officers who collude with these criminal gangs to be able, I've heard they just change the command, but they leave the actual policemen who have become, so what action other than the command at the station? Because the police officer who has come now, the OCS, is doing a tremendous work. So what happens to the officers under him, who are the main culprits, who are involved in collusion with this guy. And the very last one is,
No.
if I have information,
Now I'll give the floor to Honorable Mawade. Honorable Gikari, you have had 3 bites.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I want to thank the CS for having appeared here today so that we can be able to exchange with him or rather answer our questions. First of all, I want to ask the Bwana CS, are you aware that on Thursday, March the 30th, a 17-year-old high school student by the name Master Ezekiel Macau of Double Vision Secondary School was shot at Pipeline Estate, a resident of Pipeline Estate. On the same day, also, a 16-year-old boy by the name Master Stephen Mwau Muthusi was hit with a tear gas canister on the head, admitted at Kenyatta National Hospital, and succumbed to the injuries and taken to the city mortuary, burial permit number 0416790 at the city mortuary. And what are we doing about the officers that shot these 2 young individuals? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Women Rep Isiolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is a very specific question that concerns the commitments made by the Cabinet Secretary during his visit to Isiolo County on matters in security. First of all, I would like to thank him for making an effort to go to specific places where we've been having a challenge with insecurity along the border. That is Garissa, Wajir, and Samburu area, where it's becoming a security hotspot. We may be enjoying a relative peace at the moment because of the drought situation that has existed before, but now we are getting out of that with the blessings of the rain. Most expected scenario will be, there will be hate. Palm we currently seeing could be deceiving. So my question, Cabinet Secretary, is to speak to the specific commitment you made in the area called Mlango, bordering Samburu County, an area called Yamicha, bordering Wajir County, and an area called Korbesa, bordering Garissa County, where we've had so many people killed and a lot of livestock taken. You promised you will put up a formed unit there. It could be a buffer zone where you ensure that such kind level of killings will not happen in the future. Where are we with that? Secondly, on the issue of KPR.
One at a time, I gave you an
KPR, Mr. Speaker, I'm finishing on the issue of KPR that could be very useful to our people. Where are we on that in the case of Isiolo? And for your criteria. For operationalizing the sub-counties, the 80 sub.
That's okay. That's it. Reject them. It's long since I used a flash.
Counties. Could you also add the level of insecurity as one of the criteria to be considered to let counties be operationalized in that order? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Kamket.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I believe, Mr. Speaker, that the appearance of the CS today in Parliament should be the beginning of our return constitutionally to the old system where cabinet
Here we are, and
Mr. Speaker,
I want to.
earlier on, my constituency, but I would like to ask the Cabinet Secretary, number one, would the Cabinet Secretary consider reviewing the curfew orders to exclude trading centers?
Yeah, I mean, just glad to be here.
In order not to lose the largely peaceful populations.
Happy to
the trading centers in my
this.
constituency. Number two, Mr. Speaker, given that so far there has been no policing value or even deterrence value of roadblocks, could the Cabinet Secretary consider reducing the roadblocks to make them as friendly as possible, so as not to marginalize further the marginalized constituency of Tiati? And finally, Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this floor to invite the Cabinet Secretary very politely to Tiati. I have seen him looking at Tiati from a binoculars in some instances. I would like to invite him and take a visit, and perhaps he will come back with a better view of that marginalized constituency. There are, finally, sorry, Speaker, there are some gazetted administrative units, and there are others which we have proposed in order to bring government as close as the people as possible. And could he make a commitment on the floor on whether that is going to be done in the shortest time possible, including the Tiati Central Sub-County? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Saidi Poster. Give the mic to member for Galole.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, Tana River leaders had a meeting with the CS about 2 months ago. And in that meeting, the CS promised to give NPR from Tana River guns. But we have not seen those guns up to now.